Welcome to tonight's call, Longevity Powered by Community. So tonight we're going to talk about many different topics, including health challenges, what are peptides. We're going to speak a little bit about weight loss and microdose, longevity, sexual health, and why LEMD. So we're going to go over quite a few different peptides tonight, and I just want you to get an idea of what interests you. Maybe just have a piece of paper close by and you can just jot down some notes. But everything that we're talking about here is on the website and then there's a lot more information. We just want you to kind of get an idea, but you don't have to become an expert in all things peptides just by tonight. So the reason that we're here is through all the different health challenges that are coming into play in our midlife. I think everyone here can attest that they know somebody, or maybe they're experiencing themselves, someone in the perimenopause stage or the menopause stage for women, men 30 to 55. We're really starting to see different health issues and crisis and all kinds of things come up, whether it's emotional that's been buried below for years and years, or lifestyle or genetics. It's kind of all starting to come out. And women gain an average of 15 plus pounds during just the menopause stage. And they start losing muscle mass, their sleep is affected, it shifts their body weight. And you know what that does emotionally and mentally. And for men, they have their period too. They have their own issues. And this starts around 30. Men tend to get some excess weight around their belly, midsection. They call it the dad bod. I think we've all seen those t-shirts, dad bod. The visceral to belly fat is really the most concerning for them, as it contributes to the insulin resistance and cardiovascular disease. And once you have one thing go wrong, especially some of these issues I just listed, then it's kind of like a domino effect. So there's some top metabolic diseases in the US, and here's some of their causes. But metabolic syndrome, insulin, obesity, type 2 diabetes, dyslipidemia, non-alcoholic fatty liver, and hypertension. And a lot of these, yeah, of course, we've been told that they are genetic, but genetic, that just kind of tells you what you're predisposed to, and lifestyle turns that switch on or off. And our diets are just full of high sugar, refined sugars, processed carbohydrates. And I will say, it's not your fault. You go to Europe and you order some bread, and it's going to come out to the table, and you know that bread is so super clean, and it doesn't affect your body the same way that a basket of bread would affect us in the US. So what's being put in our mouths from the time we're children up until adults is really, really starting to take its toll. There's high alcohol use. It's praised, it's glorified. The seed oils are in everything. There's many countries you go to where they would never even dream of using canola oil. Ultra processed foods and just sedentary lifestyle. And everything is high stress. I was walking around today in the small town that I live in the country, and I thought to myself, I love being in just a small, quiet area, because there is so much stress as we go out into our world, and that is affecting us. There's many things that can be done. Your sleep is number one. Your sleep is where your body is rejuvenating. There are so many different mechanisms that are taking place in the nighttime while you're sleeping. Your nutrition is super important. Your exercise, how your body is moving, how you stretch, how you balance, how you strengthen your muscles. Stress, reducing our stress and having a healthy metabolism. These are all things that may be something that you haven't really paid attention to, but now you are. And we want you to know that it does take time to work through these things, and patience. And this is why peptides are here to help too. But peptides are something that we can use to help as a tool to get us on the right track and to keep us on the right track in this environment that we live in. So Stephanie is going to take over from here and tell us what are peptides.
Okay, so a peptide, very simply put, is a short chain of amino acids, and they act like little messengers in the body. So think like it's sending out an SMS, it's sending out a text message through the body. And in fact, they have documented over 7,000 peptides, mapped them out in the body. So peptides already exist in our body. In skincare, we've been using peptides in skincare for years. So they are biomimetic. So when we are using peptides from the compounding pharmacy to support different things in our body, they are mimicking our body's natural peptide function. Sometimes it's the production of the peptide. It's used to enhance and get it to work. And one thing I kind of want you to keep in mind when you're thinking about peptides, what's unique about using them is that whenever you utilize a peptide, it's a key. And once it enters the body, it's looking for its lock. It's looking for that very specific peptide receptor in the body. It's not just floating around doing all kind of different things. No, it has a job and it's looking for its match. So just kind of keep that in mind as we go forward learning more about the various peptides. Okay, so there's so many peptide categories. Like if you've got something going on with your body, there is a peptide for it. So of course we have them for longevity. So longevity is about living a high quality life. It's not just living until I'm 90, but my back hurts, I'm overweight, I got the diabetes, right? As they used to say it in the 80s, and all these health problems. No, we want to live strong and vibrant. We've got peptides for cognitive support. And if you're like a 40 plus woman, you understand that your brain is changing. Walking into a room and forgetting why you walked in. It's very annoying. And then also sexual health. We've got anti-aging. We have a few categories that are not even mentioned on this slide. Okay, so we are going to touch on GLP. And what I really want to speak to when it comes to the GLP is we've already heard about weight loss and high A1C, insulin resistance, helping with type 2 diabetes. Yes to all of that. But the list of profound benefits of a GLP far surpasses what we've been hearing the last few years, okay? And it's a good list, and it's such a good list that I have it written down because I don't want to forget any of them, okay? Now, before I tell you all these extra benefits that a lot of people aren't familiar with, you need to know that in the human body, we all have GLP-1 receptors from head to toe. That is every organ, your bone, your muscles, your tissues, your ligaments. Like literally, there's not anywhere in the human body that doesn't have a GLP-1 receptor. Now, your brain and your gut both produce GLP-1. When you consume food the way it naturally worked, probably when we were younger, our GLP was functioning like it was supposed to. We would consume food, it would hit the gut would go, ah, we have food, and it would kick off a release of GLP. Well, the benefits of that or the effects of it last for only 2 minutes. And it's working with your satiety signal. It kicks off a whole bunch of other things like your ghrelin. Oh, what's the other one? I just totally lost it. Has to do with your hunger signal and your satiety signal. Well,
Leptin
through
and ghrelin.
aging, ghrelin, and there's two
Is it
parts to it.
leptin?
Yes, thank you. Leptin and ghrelin. Got it. Um, but just through aging, and perhaps we've gone through periods of life where we weren't taking good care of ourselves, that all stops functioning the way that it was intended to function. And we're not getting the benefits from it anymore. So, and I will also say there's no such thing as natural GLP. I have tried those things. I've been sitting on the sidelines for a long time before I really went into the science of this. And there's no such thing. There are things that you can do to enhance your microbiome, but especially if you're type 2 diabetic, you can almost guarantee that that's not functioning for you anymore. That metabolic syndrome is really challenging on the body and the digestive system. So let me share with you some of the GLP-1 health benefits that a lot of people don't know about. Well, the first one is reduced food noise. Yes, we have heard of that. So what's food noise? Because I was a little unclear with what does that really mean? Well, it means you're thinking about food when you're not hungry, when you're in between meals. Like your mind always trickles back to food for what's my next meal? What am I going to cook? What am I going to eat? What time? Like your mind is consumed with food. Um, One of the things I'm really excited about is that GLP-1 helps with addictions because it works on hedonia, the hedonic part of your brain. So if it's you have to have your glass of wine every night. Some people use cannabis products to calm down and de-stress. It could be cigarette smoking, any kind of thing like that. Stress eating, emotional eating, that was mine. That is gone for me. And I just noticed it one day. Just is gone. It's not a thing. I don't stress eat anymore. So that is really, really powerful for a lot of people. It's very liberating. Inflammation in the body. And I know Amy will touch on her own story, but that's one of the first things that people are aware of how they feel in their body is their aches and pains simmer down. And then that puffy, fluidy retention in the face, that's oftentimes a sign of inflammation as well. And they're actually really good for supporting your immune system. So people who have any kind of an autoimmune disorder, they feel a lot better when they use a GLP. Brain fog clears up because remember, your brain produces GLP. So if your brain is producing its own GLP, or it did when you were younger, that means it must really need it. And I think that's very interesting. The other thing I want to say while I'm touching on brain is that when using a GLP-1, they help the brain to be neuroplastic. So, neuroplasticity in the brain is referring to whenever we create a habit, whether it's a good habit or a bad habit, or it could be a mindset, a belief system, that actually gets burned into a neural pathway in the brain. So, when you're using a GLP-1 and you're making some really profound lifestyle changes, you're actually rewiring your brain while you're using that GLP. And by the time you get to your goal, whatever that may be for you, you have these new habits rewired in your brain. So that's really, really exciting. Of course, they help improve insulin resistance and A1C. I will just touch on that for a moment. My A1C was like, I was at the highest level of pre-diabetes. Like one more point and I would have been type 2 diabetic. So I started GLP at the end of March. And then last week I had labs done. So I went from, what was a 6.4 all the way down to a 5.6 or a 5.8 in a short amount of time. And as I understand it, I'm told that is a huge improvement. I don't understand that whole system, but I'm told that is a giant leap of improvement. So that is amazing. Cardiovascular support. GLPs help protect the heart, which is really important, especially for women who are perimenopausal, menopausal, because our hormones are dipping. And if you're not on hormone replacement therapy, you may not be getting that cardiovascular support that you would get from estrogen replacement. Also, I just watched a podcast with a cardiologist saying he loves his patients being on a GLP because it's removing that fat, that visceral fat away from the heart. So, really, really amazing when you keep learning about the benefits of GLP. Great for PCOS. Oh my gosh, PCOS is insulin resistance driven. It's some hormone factors, but insulin resistance is a big part of PCOS. Um, and so that is my laundry list of some of the benefits that a lot of people aren't hearing about. And it's kind of one of those things that once you start using a GLP, you start to become really in tune with your body and you're paying attention, and all of a sudden you realize you're feeling better. That symptom that was bothering you is no longer an issue. Okay, so with you've got two GLPs that we offer. So the GLP-1, known as semaglutide when it comes from the compounding pharmacy. That one is really popular, and it is absolutely helping with your weight management, helps with satiety, portion control of your food, balances out that blood sugar and metabolic health. Then you have the upgrade, which most people are moving over to the GLP-1 GIP. That's considered a dual agonist. Okay, it's a two-part system that's working on the body. So now, not only are you getting all the same benefits you got from semaglutide, now with tirzepatide, the dual agonist, you're getting more benefits on the metabolic side. So really good for insulin resistance, really excellent for bringing down that A1C. And due to the clinical studies, there's even a higher percentage of fat loss. So if you know I'm insulin resistant, I have A1C, and I have 20 pounds or more to lose, that's really the one you want to look at more closely. Also, the feedback I've gotten from a lot of people that I coach is that if they formerly had used the GLP-1, they had some symptoms from it. They don't have those same symptoms with the GLP-1 GIP, with the tirzepatide. And that's the one that I'm using. And I think Amy is using that as well.
Mhm.
And we offer it in injection form. And it also comes in oral drops for people who are like, I cannot and refuse to do needles. But I will tell you that with the oral dose, it's not, the potency and the level of dose is not very consistent. But a lot of people do have good results with the oral drops as well. Okay, so when you get a GLP-1 from the compounding pharmacy, you always choose one of the three additives that are available. So you've got the L-carnitine, which is great for helping to convert fat into usable energy. It helps with fat metabolism and exercise performance, endurance recovery. I chose the glycine because I wanted to make sure that I was maintaining muscle. So that's what the glycine is really known for. And then B12, most people know B12 is great for energy. Now, I will say it is my understanding that the B12 that the Clover RX compounding pharmacy offers is the methylated. So if you know that you have the MTHFR gene mutation, you're okay to use the B12 that we offer.
Yeah, so microdose is basically just it's still the GLP, but or GLP-1 or the GLP GIP, that either the semaglutide or the tirzepatide. It's just taking it at a smaller dose. So I take a microdose of a microdose. So I take, just to tell you how powerful this stuff is, I take about a third of the lowest dose of the tirzepatide, and I've had tremendous benefits on inflammation and with my migraines and with my sensitivity to food. So in 7 months, I have not had a migraine, and that is the first time in my life that's I've ever gone that long. So it is, and people, and you know, for me, inflammation for me just triggers into a migraine. But for others, inflammation does something else to them. So everybody kind of has their thing. But you can do either of these in a very small dose. We really honestly don't have a whole lot of people getting the semaglutide, but there are people who are, they've been using it, they've had great results with it, so they continue to order. But most people are really going towards the tirzepatide, the GLP GIP, because it's working on multiple pathways. But anyway, you can still get wonderful results taking a smaller dose. Maybe you don't have weight to lose and you want to, maybe you're really concerned about keeping your muscle and you don't want to be at a calorie deficit, because the thing is, it doesn't matter what you do. If you are eating at a calorie deficit and you're not lifting weights, you don't know if your body is burning fat or if it's burning muscle. You don't really know where it's going to come from. And unfortunately, you know, when you get a little bit older, the body would rather hold on to fat than it would muscle. So sometimes you just don't really know. So anyway, you can do a smaller dose that doesn't have a huge effect on your appetite. And I love that because I lift weights. I want to make sure that I get all the calories that I need to help, fuel muscle growth. there it's Stephanie has done a microdose up until just recently. So her results on her A1C are from doing a small microdose. And and by the way, for me, I would have I would have blood sugar dips. So I never really struggled with high blood sugar, but I struggled with hypoglycemia. And the hypoglycemia would then trigger the migraine. Well, now I can go so long without food. It's not that I'm not hungry, it's that I don't have to have the anxiety of, oh my gosh, I have to eat. So just to give you an example, before I was on tirzepatide, I'd be driving home, I'd get hungry. Immediately my body and my brain is like, I need to get food, I need to get food. I'm going to get a migraine. I got to stop. I've got to get food. I'd stop at the gas station. I'd get some best option I could find, some cashews or some raw almonds or something like that, and or a protein bar. And now, and that, all that stuff is still junk food. It's like the better option of junk food, but it's still junk food. It's not real food. Well, now I can actually say, I'm okay. I can go home. I'll be home in 30 minutes. I'll drink some water and I'll be just fine. And my blood sugar just stays stable. And that's empowering, honestly. That's actually removed a lot of anxiety for me because before I just always had to have food close by. It was kind of exhausting and annoying to myself and to the others around me to constantly be such high maintenance. All right. So same with the weight loss. I mean, you can add the L-carnitine with it. You can have it compounded with the glycine or the B12. If you don't know what to do, B12 is always a great option, but the L-carnitine helps with your fat burning and, like Stephanie said, the glycine with more sleep and cognitive function and muscle, which is also good. Okay, we're going to go into talking about some of the other peptides now. And I know we spent a lot of time on the weight loss and the microdose, so we're going to go through these a little bit quicker. NAD, this is actually a coenzyme that plays a very strong fundamental role in your cellular function, including your DNA repair and energy metabolism and your adaptation to stress. NAD decreases with age. We all have NAD, but it decreases with age. And if you are wanting an option that you can do this at home, because if you right now, in for most people who have wanted NAD, they had to go and get an IV and have it put into an IV, and they're paying hundreds of dollars for it. I know because my husband did it for years. He did it as an antidepressant. He did it as an anti-anxiety. He did it for his cognitive brain function because my husband's really smart, but his brain would move really fast. And he's like ADHD or something. I don't think he's ever been formally diagnosed, but the amount of times that he's lost his keys, wallet, and left his lunch on the counter that I've made it, he definitely got something. So the NAD helps really, really well. And now he gets it at home and he can just give himself a shot. If he wanted to do a nasal spray, he could do that as well. That's also an option. Sermorelin is a peptide that helps with the release of your body's own human growth hormone. And this is one that I absolutely love. I do this 5 days a week and I'll probably do it forever because the sleep is so freaking good. Holy moly. I can't tell you how good the sleep is. I have never been one to sleep really well. Like I get good sleep and it would be for, 7, 8 hours, but you could look on my ring, because we have these Reebok rings. And before that I had an Aura ring and I would see how all night long it would be like awake, back asleep, deep sleep, light sleep, awake, now there's no awake. It's fall asleep and then it's the natural sleep cycles of light sleep, REM sleep, and deep sleep. And then literally for 8 hours straight. And I wake up and I'm like, oh. But the cool thing about it is that it also helps with your muscle growth and it helps with fat burning too and your tissue repair. So fat growth or fat loss or fat burn, muscle growth, sleep, like sign me up. It is awesome. Okay, Stephanie, you're on glutathione.
Okay, I am on glutathione. That was important for me to add that into the peptides that I'm taking because glutathione is considered and known as the master antioxidant. like every cell has glutathione, okay? But again, due to aging and lifestyle, it may not just be doing its job anymore. So it supports detoxification. And so think liver. So I have been formally diagnosed with non-alcoholic fatty liver. I was diagnosed with metabolic syndrome 2 years ago. So I've really been like trying to get my health in order here. When your liver gets fatty and sluggish and built up with toxins, it's very hard to lose weight. You just don't feel good. You have low energy because those toxins aren't able to flow out of the body like they're meant to. Your liver is what it is, the detox pathway, like the one of the main. So by using glutathione, you're helping the body to detox, you're supporting the liver. And interestingly, in my deeper research of glutathione, it kept saying that a lot of people will use it for beauty, that it's skin brightening. And I absolutely noticed that. My skin, and I'm an esthetician, so I'm very tuned in to skin, very bright and clear, and just I looked very vibrant. So, it helps reduce your inflammation, good for the skin, hair, and nails, and that cellular repair. So good.
Oop, wait. Okay. BPC 157 with TB 500. I love to say that fast. I like to say that to my husband. Are you going to get the BPC 157 with the TB 500? Okay.
Or
This
the
peptide.
Wolverine stack.
Yes, aka the Wolverine stack. So you might have heard it called that as well. But BPC 157 is derived from a protective protein that's found in your stomach, and it has the ability to help with your tissue repair and your gut lining, with your tendons, with your ligaments. So the BPC 157 is amazing for your gut. People use this for all kinds of gut issues. TB 500 promotes your cell regeneration and your inflammation reduction. So you can consider this peptide as the one that's really great for after you have a surgery or for your gut health, for inflammation, anti-aging, for your performance. Athletes love this one. I've got a runner right now that running would put him under for days. Now he's running every day. And just from this peptide alone, accelerated healing and recovery. That's why they like you to do it after a surgery. So this is a really good one. My husband loves it. He would wake up every morning in a lot of pain, just totally stowed up. And now he just comes right on out of bed. I'm like, awesome. Now get to work. Um,
Yes.
okay, the GHKCU, they call this the glow peptide. You'll see if you see a woman and she was like, 45, and all of a sudden she was gaining weight, and now all of a sudden she's not, and now she's in really good shape, and her skin is glowing, you can go, are you taking some peptides? She's probably on glow peptide. You can see it now. You can really see it on people. And it's not just the Botox and the fillers. Like people are using this and their skin is just rejuvenating. The wounds on on the skin heal up, and the hair is growing. It promotes the collagen and the elastin production, and it gets you that firm looking skin. I told my doctor, I said, all right, if you're telling me this will tighten up them thighs, we'll buy this in stock. Okay. Stephanie, you want to go over Chloe?
Yes. Okay. So Clo is considered a stack. So in the peptide space, you're going to hear the term stack, and that means you are using multiple peptides to support your body and your health. So Clo is four peptides in one. So it includes the BPC 157 and the TB 500 that Amy just touched on. So anytime you hear that or the Wolverine stack, think about Wolverine. He regenerated, right? He got slashed, his body repaired. That's what the BPC 157 does. So if you have an old injury, you got in a car wreck, some injury from college, and it's just pesky, you've done all the things and you just deal with this pain, that's what you need because it helps heal the muscle and the tissue and nerve. Also, inflammation, the aches and pains in the body and the muscles. And then it adds in the KPV. KPV is also works more on the gut and the immune system, also on the inflammation. So when I say works on the gut, what I'm saying is it is targeting, and also the BPC 157 does as well. It heals the lining of the gut. So think GERD, acid reflux, IBS, like anything like that that's a disturbance of the digestive system, it's going to support that. And then it has the GHKCU in it, which she just talked about, that hair, nails, skin, collagen building, anti-aging. So this is a very popular peptide product, the clove.
Yeah, it's a popular peptide because people, maybe they're getting like, they started with one peptide and they're like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And then they add another and then another. And then next thing you know, they're giving themselves like four shots. Well, the Clo, they can just do it at once.
Yes. A lot of women and men are using it for hair growth specifically. If you're seeing some thinning, that's the one.
Yeah, I got my husband on it. I'll let you know how it works.
Please do.
Yeah. Okay, MOTS-C. So this one is really great for metabolic efficiency. They call this exercise in a bottle. I just met with someone the other day that, for whatever reason, he cannot use GLPs at all, but he can do MOTS-C, and he's got a lot of injuries, and he can't really exercise like he should. And MOTS-C, I was talking to him. I was like, MOTS-C would be an excellent one for you, and it will really help with your glucose utilization. It helps with your insulin sensitivity. Basically, when someone says, "Oh, this helps with your insulin sensitivity," what does that mean? It basically, you need your cells to be sensitive to the insulin, because it's kind of like a teenager that you tell them all these things to do and then they just don't listen. They stop listening, and then all the problems that you said were going to happen start happening. Your cells are like teenagers not listening, and you need them to listen to you to get the job done. So if your cells are actually listening to you, then they will receive the insulin, and then they will lower the blood sugar, and then that is the cascade of effects on your body. So this is really great for your cells. It's good for your stress. It's good for your mitochondria. Just honestly, everything. MOTS-C is an awesome peptide. Okay, so now we're going to move into the sexual health section of the presentation. And there's quite a few different ones. Well, there's really three to specifically. But we're going to start with PT 141 so that you can understand why this is in the other ones. So PT 141 enhances your libido and it enhances the sexual desire. This has been a peptide that it was under a brand name, like a pharmaceutical brand name. It's been around for a long time. These peptides, a lot of these peptides aren't new. They've been around for a long time. It's just that they're being offered through the compounding pharmacies now and in the generic forms. So this one can be used a few times a week, or you can do it as desired, but it improves your sexual health and satisfaction. Okay. So,
It can I just add to that, Amy, that
yeah.
I think is important, especially for men that may be having some challenges? What I really like about this is the way that it's enhancing libido. It's working on your brain. It's not working on the cardiovascular system, because we know now that Cialis, Viagra, that's working on your circulatory system. It's really not good for men's health to use those products. And some men are just not a candidate because it can cause issues with the heart. So I just wanted to like point that out to you to know that it's working on the brain, not the circulatory system.
Yeah, and for a lot of people it is the brain. I mean, it is for me. I mean, if I know that it's during the daytime and I've got a teenager about to be home, like I am so flipping tense, like there's nothing happening well at all. And so, but we go out of town. This is TMI. We go out of town to a hotel and all of a sudden we're having a good time. It's literally, it really is in your brain so much. Well, this helps with your brain. Okay. So here's just more on the PT-141. If you really want to know that molecule, what it looks like, there's a picture of the molecule. I don't know. Okay. So they take that PT 141 and then they put it in a few different products. They have something called the Elate spray, and then they have something called the Thrill pill. So the Elate spray is a nasal spray, and it has the PT 141, it has the tadalafil, and then it has the oxytocin. So the tadalafil actually does help with the circulation, and it does help with the blood flow, but not in the same way that like Viagra or Cialis works. It's different. You would have to do some further research on that. I can't tell you specifically why, but oxytocin, they call it like the cuddle hormone. So it's just the feel good. So these three are combined together, and it has a period of time that it works. So the Thrill pill, you would take it under your tongue, I believe, and then the Elate spray obviously is up the nose. There's the triple action support. So it tells you just the effects over time. So it's not like, you do this on Monday and it's going to be working on Friday, but here's the journey over time. So the first hour, that's like your active window. Then it, after 6 to 12 hours, then it's fading off and there's some benefits, and then there's 24 hours and beyond. It's some people do experience long-term effects, but I don't, who knows, it still could be working in the system, but it also could be just for other personal issues or personal reasons. Sometimes you just got to warm up a little bit, if it's been a while. I don't know. I mean, that's a lot of info, but sometimes it's been a while and then you get really tense, and I'm just speaking real, and then there's tension, and then it's hard to be active again. So, um, anyway, you have one good time and then you're like, okay, let's have seconds. Well, not the same day, but okay, I'm going too much. I'm just going to stop right there and I'm going to pass this on over to Stephanie.
Hey, we gotta have, girl talk. We need to
Tiffany thinks
support
I'm
each other.
funny.
Yeah.
Tiffany thinks I'm funny. She gets me.
Okay. So here's what I really appreciate about LE&D, because there's a lot of conversation in the Facebook world right now and other platforms about peptides and research and gray market. So let me start with what uh, gray gray market and research means. So I'm going to flip that and start from a different direction. So LEMD is partnered with Clover RX. That is our exclusive compounding pharmacy that just happens to be located in Tomball, Texas, so close to where Amy and I live. And everything that goes through the compounding pharmacy, they receive it and they send it out to a third party lab. They are checking for safety, that this product is what it says it is when they get it from their suppliers before they actually compound it to send to you. So they verify that it actually is what it says it is, what they purchased. They're also testing it for heavy metals and toxins, because we're inhaling through nasal sprays. Some things we offer are an oral. Like, it's important to know the cleanliness of the product, the safety, the efficacy of it. And the other thing that I love about Ellie is that you're getting these prescriptions. They are prescribed by a doctor. So that means you go to the website, you choose your peptide, fill out your health questionnaire with any current medications, any other health diagnosis. Maybe you are already in a wellness journey and you're taking like a whole laundry list of supplements. Like, that's how we are in my house. So you share all of that so that a medical provider can look at all of your information and go, yes, you're a candidate, or no, you're not. Or, hey, I got some questions for you about your health. Let's have that conversation. So you are under medical supervision. And that is the safest way to go with, especially anything you're injecting, right? Because it's instant. I'm very hyper aware of my body and I can feel immediately when I've injected something. Not anything bad, but I'm aware. Oh, I can feel it going through my body. So, and a compounding pharmacy, the LAMD it's a 503A compounding pharmacy. It also has regulatory oversight, your FDA and those pharmaceutical um, things, those checks and balances that they have to go through. They are accountable for all the products that they have in the compounding pharmacy. So hear that. Now you have people out there who are price shopping for research and gray market peptides. So that means that they are getting peptide products from a resource that may or may not be doing third-party testing. So one of the things about peptides is that all the raw materials, all of them, come from China. China somehow is the manufacturer on the raw materials called APIs. Okay. Even big pharma, that's where they gather their raw materials from. So you have dealers here in the United States that are getting the raw materials, they're making their peptide products, and then they're selling them. And they will literally label them as research only. You, as the consumer, are called a researcher. They're telling you this is for research purposes only. Sometimes they will provide certificates saying that they've been third party tested, that they're clean, they're toxin free. It's a mixed bag. I'm not saying there aren't any good resources out there, but it's a mixed bag, and there's no FDA governmental oversight. There's no accountability, and that's why they're called research grade for research purposes. So if you walk away with anything from our conversation today, is I really want you to understand that what gray market and research is, and what peptide from a compounding pharmacy is. Completely night and day difference. And the other thing with Ellie is that you have access to your provider. Hey, I've got questions, or this is what's going on in my experience. And once you start adding more peptides, we recommend for anywhere from 4 to 8 weeks after you started one, then you're going to go back and that doctor is going to review. They see, oh, I see everything you're taking. You're already taking this peptide. So you have that relationship. It's a very concierge. But don't let that scare you, because whatever price you see for the website, that's the price. And that is your consultation with your doctor. That is having your syringes, all your supplies shipped directly to your door. It covers your shipping. Like, it's all bundled in. And all those extra going back and forth with your provider, it's all built into the price. And so it's it's pretty fancy and very customer oriented driven. I love it. Love it. And when you go to the LEND site, for those people who are like, I like to read, I like to be empowered and educated, any peptide you click on, if you go to the very bottom of the page, you will see multiple scientific studies on that particular peptide listed there. So you can see, yeah, these have been through trials. This is the data on this particular peptide. So Ellie is on top of it, and especially with education, they have a whole YouTube channel full of education on peptides from the various doctors.
I'd like to show you just the website really fast, and you'll go to their to the link that they gave you. And so here's mine. I'm already signed in, so I can look under the products right here. There's a long list. If you have any questions and you want to reach out to the person who invited you, you can say, "Oh, I wanted to get this. Which one is it?" And they'll help you, because you'll see there's different options. For example, like the BPC 157 TB 500, there's an injection, but there's also the capsules. And we'll be able to say, hey, if you get the capsules, that's going to be more for the gut health, but the injection is more for gut health and tissue regeneration. Or, oh, if you got a GLP-1 with B12 only, that's the semaglutide, but the GLP-1 GIP, that's the tirzepatide. So you kind of want to get some support with that. And then if I go over to, let's say I wanted to order glutathione, that's probably going to be my next one that I order. So if I go over to glutathione, I click on it, I scroll down, and I can see all the highlights. I can see the benefits. I can see subscription plan. That's, by the way, that's like a automatic prescription renewal, you can turn that off anytime. Scroll down, you see some testimonies, you see some scientific sources. So these are really great articles if you're a reader and you like to read on mitochondrial health at night, then you just go right ahead. And here's more frequently asked questions. Lots of really great information here. Okay, and then so if I go over here and I click purchase, then it's going to pull up my medical intake form. So for every peptide that you order, it's a different medical intake form. It doesn't take long to fill it out, but you just fill that out. And if I go to my patient portal, so right now my active prescriptions right now are, here's the Sermorelin. So I have other peptides, but I turned off the automatic prescription refill. So I need to do that for the Sermorelin. Okay, so I can go over to the Sermorelin, I can click message, and then I can send them a message right here, and they will respond back to me. And actually, I think I was doing an example. Hi, will Sermorelin also help with my skin tone? I'd like for my skin to tighten as well if possible. And then it gave me an answer right down. She gave me an answer right here. So really great stuff. I can click on my orders. I can see the things that I've ordered, and I can go to my wallet. Do you want to see my credit card? Oh, I need to remove that one actually. Okay, so this is just a little website tour.
In order to see the pricing, you do need to create a free account. There's no obligation to purchase, but you just create a free account and then it'll unlock where you can see the pricing and then show you all the peptides, because there's a few that are concealed and you can't see them unless you have a free account.
I'm going to stop my sharing here. Thank you, everyone, for joining us on this amazing Power of Peptides Zoom call. We hope that you enjoyed this recording and share it with someone else. Thank you.
Further questions, just reach out to the person who shared this Zoom call with you tonight.